Welcome back everybody to the single player world. I am very excited today. We're playing around in a new area, and if you're new to the channel or new to the series, first of all, welcome, and second of all, I want to just give you a little bit of background on where we are today, because we aren't playing in that same city that we were playing in the last few episodes. I wanted to change things up a little bit, do a few different things, and build in another area just to break it up a little bit. And a lot of people from streams and just in general will be very familiar with the HMS Wars, my very first ship, which is a beauty sitting out over there. And by the way, yes, we are running with shaders right now. Won't be here for the whole day. I just thought it'd be really cool to walk through the forest in shaders. But this is the very first town that we've got. And I want to just give you a little bit of a bearing onto where we are going and where we are right now and where we're working. Just because, of course, I actually get to ask this question a lot when we're working in this area on stream, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here who might not be too familiar yet with the beginning of this series. So while we're going through here, I'll explain what's going on, and the idea of today's episode comes about from the battle between these two kingdoms. We've got the one that we were working in last time, and this is the other one. This is basically the Nordic based one. It's out in these woods. It's got a few villages. It's a bit more basic, a bit not as wealthy as the previous city that we were in. And this, by the way, is my forest that we're working on, slowly getting these really large trees in. But what we are doing today is I want to make this seem like this town is really trying to protect itself. It's got some measures in place. For instance, it's got a little watchtower over there, which is something I did in a stream a while ago. I don't think I've ever shown you guys that. I can't even remember if I have. But stuff like this, things along the river that stop boats from coming in, intruders from coming in. And that, of course, is a little bit of a checkpoint, which you could call it, along the river from the ocean into the inland, which is around this way. And what I want to do is I want to make one from on the land. So this is a very well-used path. This path goes all the way from that first town that we've just walked from, all the way to where our main city, which hasn't actually been built here yet, is over here. And I'm really excited to get these all connected and eventually just start the next big city. Oh man, we've got too many huge cities in this place. But when we do eventually get it, I guarantee you it's going to be really awesome. But coming around from here, we're going to go all the way up this way. And this is where I've stopped the path. And what we are doing today is we're going to be building another checkpoint. But this is the on-land checkpoint. And the sun looks like it's about to go down. So I guess we better quickly sleep. And it's morning time, of course. Here we go. This is what I was thinking. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a little bit of a tower over here. Not a little bit of a tower, a large-ish tower, medium-sized tower. They'll be able to look out over this direction, see anyone approaching, and also be able to stop anyone at these gates. So think of this as a bit of a customs area where you've got people getting stopped quite often to get checked, make sure they're not bringing anything into the new city that we're going to be building, which is going to be very wooden, might I add. I don't know if I've actually spoken to you guys about the look of it, but it's going to be very woody and brown and kind of blending in a little bit with the forest, but it's going to be, I think, a really cool idea. Really cool design, I hope, by the time we're done with it. And I've chopped down these trees, but I've placed this way too quickly. I'll just get rid of these leaves. Else they're just never going to despawn because of these logs here. Bam. Don't look at me, sheep. Okay, good. It's not. Don't worry. I didn't mean that. All right, so the idea is that I want to make a little bit of a gate over here. So if we can go out probably about this far here with this tower, that will mean this tower will be wide enough for us to have a pathway up. And also we'll be able to do something. Do I have any stairs? No stairs. We'll be able to do some entrance way over here, which will look really cool, I think. Besides that, we eventually will be adding in, because this area here is going to eventually be a river. So we'll be adding in a wall that goes down to the river. But until then, we'll just pretend that we're going to be doing it. Because, of course, we're not going to build an entire wall and this and everything in here in this episode. So we'll get this part here done. And then eventually, over some time, we'll eventually get onto that stuff over there. What I'm going to do right now is I've got no real plan for the actual tower completely, just the sizing. So I'll get going on that and I'll be right back. Picture this, guys. Travelers coming from far away, stopping from that village to this inn to eventually a checkpoint over here. I think this is going to be a really cool little bit of a story we can build to this. And think of all the little things we can put along the side here. Maybe we can make a bit more of a bit more interesting stuff. For instance, wagons that have been denied entry. Maybe some other stuff that's happened here. And just, I think that'll be really cool to add this little bit of extra stuff to this world. Now, this is the shape I've come up with. It's a very basic, obviously, shape, just that side there, a bit taller than this side here. I'm probably going to just make this as like a little bit of a watch post out that way, give you a sort of 360-degree view, more or less. Let's go up here, I'll show you what I mean. So the entrance will be on this side, of course. This is basically the inside of the walls. And then you go out here, you can walk across here. We'll make a little bit of a bridge where you can walk, look across there. And then over here, this gives you a pretty good view of the river, which is eventually going to hook its way around here. And eventually, a very, very, very large project that we've been doing in streams. And I think I may have shown you guys this in a video. I always forget about things that I've shown you guys. But either way, there's some really, really big things that have happened here. Man, look at all the sheep. Because we don't have any animals in our spawn chunks, when we are around grass, they are the only spots that animals can spawn. So nothing's taken up. No mobs are taking up that cap. So we get so many mobs in this area. But here we go. This is what I've been up to. So we've got a brand new village. This village is going to be a farming village that's built up in these mountains. And this is the work I've done on it so far. And I think it's starting to come around really, really nicely. In fact, that over there is going to be the largest mountain I have ever built. Ever. Like, this is... It's going to be insane, and I'll give you guys a bit of perspective from the top, but let's just go across here, and, well, and done. Perfect. And I'll show you exactly what's going on here. We've got this, pretty much just potatoes. That's the idea. I wanted there to be a specific produce coming from here, and I thought potatoes would be a cool little thing to have. I've got to fix up those pieces before I forget. But the idea is that we've just got little houses. I've tried to use in some blocks, which I don't really use, which are these mushroom blocks, which sadly don't have a real purpose in terms of creative mode, which I've been thinking about. I don't know why. I don't know why we've got this one weird block. This block and the other block, of course, the other red mushroom, where you can't get it in creative. You can only get it with a silk touch in creative, of course, but it doesn't exist as a block, but it is a block. I don't completely understand it. But we've got a few houses that are built in here. Of course, we've just done the fronts of them around these spots here. That's a plan for another house eventually. And over here, I really like this spot here, which has got a lot of work to be done on it, but there's a house in here. Of course, that's just a nothing one as well. But then as you go through here, there's a little bit of a walkway, and then you walk up to another level where we'll have a few more houses. I want this river to be coming down here, the stream coming down here with a little bit of a bridge over it. And then you can also look out over this way. And what you'll be seeing is, of course, that's where the forest is, that's where the inn is. And over here, we might just be able to see there. That is it there. The lookout tower. So eventually, hopefully, we'll just be able to catch a glimpse of the lookout tower from here. And from the lookout tower, you'll be able to see this area as well. I think that'll be really, really awesome. And now, as I said, I wanted to show you guys exactly what this area looks like from the top, because it's getting pretty insane. There we go. That's what we're looking at. This whole area here, we've got a few more mountains and stuff to connect up there. But this whole area here is going to be the big mountain area. Probably from behind is a bit better. There we go. And there. Think about that. We've got a lot of blocks to be placing in there. A lot of blocks to be placing over here. And eventually it's going to connect up to this mountain over here, which we've built, which is right next to the snowy village. And I thought this was pretty good just to show you exactly where everything connects up and how these all play into each other and how this world is just day by day getting closer and closer to telling a full story in all of the area that we've touched. And in fact, this area here, I remember coming through it and thinking, I'm never going to be able to have the time to touch that area. We just got so many big things to do. But when we look at the big things all connecting up, this whole area is going to be touched. This whole massive, I think that's probably close to 600 by like 300 blocks or something in total from the furthest direction that way to the length of the area we've touched, which is huge. And this world's only right now 5 months old. That's crazy. In fact, if you guys remember the last world, that was in total, I think 1 year and 2 months, if I remember how long we had it for. This one we've had for roughly, what is that? Pretty much a third of the time. And we've done, I'm gonna say equivalent to the amount of work, if not more, in this world already. So expect some pretty crazy, huge things to come out of this in the future. What I want to do here, by the way, before I forget, to tell you guys what I'm thinking of doing with this tower. So my next stage is going to be adding in a few more of the rougher sorts of details. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start adding in the real deal details. So when I say like the rough details, I'm really talking about details that are not exactly like these little kind of things like little fences and stuff. Maybe fences, depends on where they go. but I want to just get the shape right. I guess that's more of the rougher details, actually, if I had to describe it. Looking at this from afar and saying, this is the shape. We've got a roof there. We've got a little bit of a lookout there. This is kind of a rough detail, I guess, when I'm saying it, because I go shape, then rough details, then finer details, and then we just touch up. That's pretty much my building process, actually. But I want to take this up just a little bit more, and I've got a really neat plan that I want to try out for a flag on the top here, which is going to be a very difficult thing, I think, but hopefully we can get it right. There you go. Not a lot has changed here, guys, but what has is this has gone a bit lower than what I expected. I've done a few little things, as you can see, just little shaping things. As I say, getting the rough shape. Now what we can do is we can start to add in some of the more interesting details. First of all, you can see I've chopped that out there. I'm probably going to be chopping some out on this side here just to make this a little bit more interesting. However, I really don't mind this being very plain. So we might not do too much on it, maybe just a little bit of a trim. And the reason I don't mind it being plain is because I want this to be kind of the feature. You know, you look at that tower. This tower just sits here, or little pillar, I guess, really just sits there, and nothing too crazy happens there. Now, before I go any further, I'm just going to keep adding in a bit of stuff here. I just want to quickly say thank you to everybody for the support we've still been getting on this series. I mean, we're on episode 71 right now, which is crazy to think that that's already 71. We've been going for 5 months on this world already, which is also insane. And just the crazy amount of people still watching and liking. Really, I do appreciate the likes, even though I don't ask for them too often. It's really highly appreciated. And that's pretty much, I just want to say thank you to you guys for all that. Now, I've just put these in here, and I think maybe I'll just push these out one more, because I feel like doing a full piece on the top here will just look a bit silly. Even though it probably is the obvious thing to do, I feel like sometimes the obvious thing is not necessarily the correct thing. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to mess around with this a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't look too crazy. Yeah, that's much better. Perfect. And I think maybe I might just do something over here. Let's just try this out. There, and really? Just didn't make it. Okay, so we'll go back here and check this out. And of course, this is actually our first episode that we've done. Yeah, I like that. Since Minecon Earth, which is pretty crazy. That was just a day or two ago now. And the coolest, in my opinion, the coolest update was around. And I'm sure you guys are all well aware of it. So we're not going to talk about that, but I'm just going to talk to you guys about how excited I am about it, because I kind of thought about it this way, that this update is probably, in my opinion, the coolest update so far. It's been the most exciting, at least the most excitement I've seen from people in the community in general about an update. And not only that, also from myself. I haven't been this excited to see Minecraft getting updated since probably 1.9. And even in saying that, I wasn't that excited for 1.9, which was obviously an update once in a really long time. I mean, 1.8 was out for quite a while before Minecraft 1.9 came out. And a lot of you guys might not even have been around for Minecraft 1.7.10 and all those ones even before that, but they were around for quite some time. And 1.8 was probably the biggest updates before 1.9. I was quite excited about 1.9 myself, to be honest, but the ones since then that haven't just had that like excitement level of, wow, we're going to be playing such a different game. There's not like too many new mechanics being introduced, except for now. Now there is. Now the big mechanics are going to be the water obviously changing. That's a big one, actually. That's a huge one. But the other thing is just in general, think about the ocean. This is what I was saying, how I'm thinking about this. Think of just how large the ocean is in every Minecraft world. In fact, I'll show you really quickly once we finish this here, what the scale is of the ocean in this world. It's just incredible. And when you think of how much is changing in this, in terms of the sea getting stuff and different biomes and stuff like that. And if you guys haven't actually, maybe some of you guys aren't in the Minecraft loop and don't know about Minecon Earth and all that stuff, so maybe I'll just quickly get you up to scratch. We're getting an aquatic update. So all water and oceans are getting ocean biomes, specific sub-biomes of the ocean. It's going to be crazy. New places to explore, new weapons, new animals, new everything. Just so many new things. And I'll show you just how much this means to a world like mine, even though it won't make a difference because my world's already generated. But just to show you just how crazy new biomes, well, new water stuff means to me. Look how much blue is on this map. That over there is half the world that's practically going to be changed. When you think about it, half the area in the world is going to be completely different. Like that is something to be very excited about. And obviously, if you guys haven't seen it, seriously, go search it up right now. It's crazy the amount of stuff that's going to be changing in the game. And in my opinion, I can't see anything that wouldn't be super exciting for everyone in the community. There's a few of those updates that kind of split people, but I think everyone can almost agree that this is an awesome update. And before, if you guys don't know, I'm just going to say dolphins. That's all I'm saying. We're getting dolphins. That is a cool update. So with this little piece here, I'm probably going to do a few little bits and pieces with it to try and get it looking good. And while we're on our way back here, let's just go through these trees. But what I think would be the coolest part about this, and what I want to try, is I've just realized I don't have a crafting table here on me. There we go. And what I think would be the coolest thing to do here is to make ourselves this area look like it's a very, very much built for this town. Very much, obviously, this town's trying to show their presence in the area, so we need to make sure that we have the correct signage. And I'll just quickly get that done because this is a matter of time. And just to get everybody up to scratch real quickly, this over here, this banner, is the symbol of this town that we are building here. It's a Nordic town, and I actually was thinking this is kind of pretty close to a lot of Scandinavian countries' flags, the shape, even though that should be pushed up a little bit. I was just thinking it's kind of a happy coincidence. So carrying on with this part here, what we want to do is I wanted to make a little bit of a flag here, and I was planning on putting a flag up in this direction, and I'll put this one maybe just up. Let's just put it up over here for now, as a little bit of a symbol of this spot. And I like the one kind of sitting on the ground there, over there, kind of like it's a bit of a war thing, like, you know how armies put their little stake in the ground. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it reminds me of a thing like that, and that's the point. We'll get there eventually. So let's just do this. I think I was actually planning on putting this on that side there, but I think this side will work very, very good, because I actually noticed this the other day around actually a map in Planet Coaster, which I was looking at, that had a very different like idea of putting a flag post just out in the middle of nowhere. And I thought that was kind of weird, but it makes complete sense to put a flag post out in the middle of nowhere. I've just never thought about adding flag posts into this area. Do I have brown? I do. Wonderful. So what I want to do here is I want to make a little bit of a flag look like it's kind of pushing off in this direction here, and this could take a little bit of time. So I'll go ahead and I'll get it done, and then we'll have a look and see if it's working for us. Sometimes when you're building, the best thing to realize is when something is working and when something is not working, which is the more important thing to realize. And what I can see from all the different combinations that I've put on this flag, it's just not going to work in this area. I think it needs a much larger structure next to it to be able to work on this scale. And I'll quickly show you what I'm talking about with this, because I thought about the only place I've ever done a flag like this in this world. I have actually used one similar to this in the last world, but it just wouldn't have been large enough to show this flag off, or at least have a few changes in the flag, differences in the color and stuff. But over here, when it loads in, the big ship, the HMS Words that we saw in the beginning of this episode, this is the only ship and the only thing that has got a flag on it. And you can see there's the first flag. We've got some larger ones when this eventually loads in. I just didn't want to load up too quickly and then miss it. There we go. You can see there's the other flags. There they are. And they work really, really well because you've got this really large structure. And when you get up close to them, they obviously quite a lot more blocky. But we have to play around with that idea of having stuff that is in scale with what we are doing. And this, of course, is a ship from the tip to the back. I don't know, I think it's the tip to the bow. It is 80-something blocks, I'm pretty sure. And from the bottom to the top, I'm pretty sure the very top of the mast is probably closer to 50 blocks up. So that is a very, very large object in the ocean. And it's kind of important to get that scale in it when you do a thing like this. And when you realize that, well, you know what, this just isn't working, you got to just go ahead and suck it up and say, you know what, it's just not working. We're going to have to do something else. So we can maybe do something else around here. If you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. But for me, I think that is pretty much the end of this flag. I'm not going to be able to... Oh, man. I forget I don't have feather falling anymore. Actually, I died kind of recently and lost my feather falling stuff. But as I say, this is definitely not going to be working. But overall, I think that this building is looking pretty good, and I've got some cool ideas to add around this area. One of the ideas is I want to add a little bit of an encampment, a little place where people who are posted to this outpost are staying. Perhaps a tent. The tent I was thinking could be kind of interesting. If we did a tent that was pushed between two different trees. So if we had a rope going from one tree to another tree, and then we could put some beds and stuff in there, I think that would look really, really good, because I've messed around with some tent ideas in a creative world, and really they are difficult to come up with a tent that is a good scale, back to scale, one that works with the scale and also works with the actual build, so it actually looks nice and pretty and doesn't lose its detail. Really, that's the problem, because a lot of the time when you go too big, you just can't get that finer detail, or if you go too small, I mean, hey, it just won't work. So you have to get it just right. But that over there, I think we can easily say looks pretty good. Let's quickly have a look at it from the other side. It looks pretty good, and I think it's a nice little area to kind of work with before we open this area. I've actually got no idea where we're going after this. If we're going down, we're going up. We're just going to let this world take us there. Yeah, we're going to go down. That's going to actually be pretty cool. Think about that. As we come over this crest, looking over some stuff over here, I'm already seeing it now. If we could have this whole area here kind of open, we can maybe put some farmland in here to connect to this farming city, which is right over here. That would be really, really awesome. And from this side, I kind of like it. Of course, I'm going to have to fill in these little bits and pieces, but that's not a very, very big deal. But for today, guys, I think that will do it for this episode. I hope you guys have had a good time. Hope you enjoy the builds we've done. And again, thank you very, very much for all the crazy support and just showing love on the channel. So thank you very, very much, and I'll see you in the next one.